Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of So You Want to Be a Cosplayer. Today, I have a very special guest. This is Lili J. She is a great cosplayer. She makes all of her cosplayers. So I'm really excited to do this episode with her so you guys can get more background on her and what she does. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Lili J cosplay, and I primarily cosplay Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have Katara's wig on today, but I also cosplay Overwatch. I've done Captain Amari. I've also done Naruto and The Walking Dead. I've been Clementine as well. I've been cosplaying for on and off maybe about 5 years or so.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so I'm still somewhat new. I feel like compared to the people who've been doing it for like 20 years. But I'm having a blast, and I primarily go to cons on the East Coast.
I loved your Captain Amari,
Wow.
by the way. That was really good. And when I found out you made it, I was
Thank
like,
you.
she made that. So yes, I'm a fan.
Thank
You said you've been cosplaying on and off for 5 years. What made you want to get into cosplay in the first place?
It was actually an accident. My sister was the one that got into cosplaying first, and her first cosplay that she'd ever made was this Mad Hatter cosplay that she used old bed sheets to make. And I was absolutely blown away by that. And she just kind of took the characters that she really loved and like made them real. And so when she came to visit me, I went to college up in Boston. And so when she came to visit me, she's like, "We're going to this con up there. So let's put together something really quick for you to wear." And so I'm like, okay, I don't even know. Like, it's the day before the con. And so we go
Right.
to a thrift store, and she's like, "You're going to be Clementine. I found this shirt. We're going to splatter some like fake zombie blood on it. Let's grab a hat and we're going to make this work." I was like, okay, here, let's go. She was Nabaru from Legend of Zelda.
Oh,
And we,
nice.
yeah, and we show up to this con and everyone is decked out. Everyone looks amazing. I'm seeing characters I recognize left and right. That was my first time seeing Avatar: The Last Airbender cosplays. And I was absolutely floored. Like it was amazing to me. I was taking pictures everywhere. I loved it. And so that was when I was like, I've got to do this.
I think, that's a cool background because cons are just amazing. And like you kind of just like dove right in there and just being into that world, I just know it was eye opening. So that's really cool. I told you I like your Captain Amari cosplay. I also really liked your Princess Yue cosplay.
Thank
I feel
you.
like you embodied her perfectly. Out of like your cosplays, which one would you say was the most difficult and why?
I would definitely say the most difficult was Captain Amari. She has a lot of elements, some of which I was used to with the sewing, but even in sewing, there were so many tricky, intricate details on her jacket. I had a pattern by Yaya Han, and I had to modify absolutely everything for that pattern to make it look like what I wanted it to look like. So it's almost recognizable if I were to show you the pattern. And that took a long, long time to do, finding the right fabrics, kind of adding the details afterwards, working with EVA foam to make the armor that she had, and then making sure it stayed on me. And there was a whole separate process of just securing things onto my body so that when I'm walking around, I'm not pulling and hauling things up as I'm walking around the con, because that's a nightmare. So yeah, she was definitely the hardest.
Those Overwatch characters and like even some of the Apex characters like Loba and stuff, they have really tricky details. And like, being someone that makes their cosplays, I can see how that's really hard. Kind of goes into my next question. I like to interview different cosplayers because you all take a different approach. What made me draw to you and your content was the fact that you are so creative and that you do all this stuff yourself. I've just never really seen that. What advice would you give to someone who wants to cosplay but take your approach to where they want to create instead of buy?
I think my first tip would be to be very patient. It's a whole separate process to find out the things that you want to know. It's another process to learn the things that you didn't know, and it's constant. The research process, the learning curve is incredibly, incredibly steep, and that's not to discourage anyone. I highly recommend people just try. There are a lot of resources out there for first-time makers and people who have books, YouTube channels, and videos who like introduce you to the basics. I would recommend starting absolutely there, like absolutely at square one. learn what EVA foam is, learn what Worbla is, learn how to basically sew a straight seam. Take your time and start doing things slowly, because by the time you like have a cosplay that you want to make and you're like, this is what I want, all of these things will have to come together. And if you're learning them all at once to make this cosplay, you're going to be really mad.
Be a lot. Yeah, it sounds
Really
like a lot.
mad. It'll be a lot. Don't do it. Just start with the tutorials, take in some stuff here and there. Maybe while you're eating lunch, watch a video about, how to sew a, inseam in, or like a hem, just a little at a time. Other thing I would recommend is, there's a lot of cost that goes into making cosplays. Make sure that when you're planning your cosplays, you've done everything in the beginning. This is the materials that I'm going to use exactly. This is how much it's going to cost. This is where I'm going to buy it. Everything. Don't even pick up any fit materials until you have planned every single thing and every single dollar. It can be hard when you're learning, because you might not know, oh, I didn't know I needed this extra thing. But try as much as you can. Start with an easy cosplay and plan every piece. That's my key advice.
That's really good because you said it takes a lot. Like behind the scenes, I mean, people just see like you guys in the cosplay. So a lot of times they don't really get to see the behind the scenes. And I think it's cool that sometimes on your TikTok you kind of walk us through the process through some of your cosplays. So that's pretty cool. So you said you go to a lot of conventions and stuff on the East Coast. Which one was like your favorite con? I know that you
Mm-hmm.
sometimes enter competitions. Like, is there one that you like the most?
That's a toughie. I think in terms of my favorite con, oh gosh, it might have to be Florida SuperCon. That con was a blast. I have never seen anything like it. MagFest, I think, would be really close second, like absolutely so close. But Florida SuperCon was just a party. Like, it was so fun. Everyone was so friendly, like just talking and hanging out. And it was in downtown Miami, so
Oh,
everyone was just like
nice.
ready for the beach, and like it was wonderful. I didn't enter into Florida SuperCon, but I think my favorite con that I have entered into, the one that's in Ohio called TorgCon. They're
Okay.
relatively small, and they're growing and they're growing, and I've been to like two different venues, and they're going to be going to a whole third new one this year, or yeah, this year. But they were so sweet. Like, everybody kind of knew each other, and it had this cordiality. Like, I don't know, it was really familiar with everyone when you came in, and I immediately felt comfortable. So when I entered, I was just like, I entered Captain Amari for that one, and that one I
Oh,
won, and that was just a really great experience.
I'm glad that you won that because that was a phenomenal cosplay.
Thank
I was
you.
mind blown. I love all cosplayers. I love everyone and everyone's approach, but I just have a special kind of appreciation for those who make their things because it's something that I can't do, you know? So it's like, yo, you're so cool. So I love that. I just think that, more of you guys should be promoted too. What can we see from you? Are you trying to post more content with cosplay? Are you going to be cosplaying at any cons this summer? Like, what do you have planned for 2024?
So I have a couple of cos plans. I'm working on my spring break just started. Woohoo! I am going to be taking that time to both rest and work on some cosplays for the upcoming year. I'm making Mercy from Overwatch. I'm going to be
Ooh, I
making,
can't wait.
I know, right? I literally am so ecstatic about it. I like, part of her wig is behind me that I'm working on. I'm going to do the night skin. And so I'm doing that this week. I will be going to Florida SuperCon for sure in this Mercy skin, and I will be entering it at Florida SuperCon in July. Other than that, I have some like fun costumes that I'm working on. I'm going to be making an Edna mode for my mom as a
Oh,
commission. I'll be working on a Ballora costume. I've never made a FNAF
oh, I
cosplay.
love FNAF.
It'll be my first one, and I'm really, really excited about it. And last, I will be making a kind of formal Suki cosplay based on the artwork of Hannah Alexander on Instagram.
Oh,
Um, so I'm really looking forward to that. I guess in terms of like my content, what to look forward to, I'm definitely going to be posting way more behind the scenes and like how to make things. And yeah, I definitely have noticed like the content that performs better is kind of like more tutorial or tips or advice in nature. So I'm going to definitely be providing more of that. And I'm going to be doing more cosplay tours. So I'm going to really get into like what my costume is and how I've made them. I just made the painted lady. I love Avatar. I might as well just be an Avatar cosplayer at this
Right,
point.
right.
But
That is great. I can't wait. Everything sounds super exciting. I am such a big FNAF nerd. Like, I'm obsessed with FNAF. So when you said
me
Ballora, I
too.
was like, I'm gonna be tuned in. So can't wait for that. Where can we find you if you wanna go ahead and let people know where we can find you on socials?
So I'm Lili J Cosplay on Instagram, TikTok, and I'm also on Threads. I'm usually just chatting with people, and sometimes people ask questions about making, and you can just chat with me anytime on Threads. I also have a link in my Instagram bio that takes you to some free resources. They contain where to buy like fabrics, 3D prints,
Ooh,
makeup, contacts, wigs, as much as like a cosplayer needs. It's still a growing list, but it's pretty large actually. People contribute to it
nice.
all the time, and yeah, you can find that there.
We'll definitely put that link that she just said in the description, as well as the links to her other socials. She is an amazing cosplayer, so I hope you guys really go check her out. Lili, this was great. Thank you so much for taking the time out to interview with me. You are phenomenal, and I can't wait to see what you have this year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I can't wait to see the video.
Of course, this is the end of episode 3 with Miss Lili J. Bye.